Hi, Ann Cornick from Paintnporcelain. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and also to recruit experienced China painters to paint along with me. Today we're going to work on the final coat of our cherries. And as you know, I always work on two plates at once or two tiles at once, whatever we're working on. So this is how my cherries turned out when I worked on them this week. And quite frankly, I didn't like the brown. I thought I would, but I thought it was a little bit too dark. This is how my second fire turned out. And I'm going to stick with more of this gray brown around the edges. I think that will help a lot. We're going to be using a couple of colors this time that you may not have on your basic palette, so I thought I'd give you a heads up. I'm going to use a warm brown gray. Now, you don't have to use it. It's this taupey color right here, but I'm going to use it around the edge of my tile just because I think it'll be a nice brown. I still want brown there, but I want something that's a little more subdued, and that's the color I'm going with. And to add depth to my leaves, I'm going to go with the darkest green. This is a dark green. You can also get black green. If you have black green, that would work just as well. The reason I'm adding those two colors is just because I need a little more depth, and a warm brown green is just not dark enough for me for what I want to accomplish on this. If you're working on a project, maybe buy, 3 or 4 colors just to enhance it. And then the next time you're working on a project, maybe buy a few more. And the other thing you might want to consider is, even though you're not maybe meeting with your teacher on a regular basis, a lot of teachers do sell their paints. They have extra paints to sell. So you could maybe arrange a porch pickup where you purchase the paints from them, you leave them a check in their mailbox, and they leave you the powder paint. Because powder paint, that can be outside. That shouldn't be a problem. And they could probably put in a little baggie for you to pick up it on their porch if they would like to. So that's another way that you might be able to get your colors. Okay, let me put you down so you can see what we're doing. So this is what we're going to start out with. And I'm going to start out with the 1/2-inch brush. I found a new 1/2-inch brush in my supplies. This is one I got from an estate. I don't know that they even make these anymore. This is a Joyce Burlew. And if anybody knows if Joyce Burlew brushes are still available, that'd be great. This one's called a flat brush, and it's it says right on it, it's a 1/2-inch. And I found it was the smoothest thing I'd ever used. I was really impressed. So I'm starting out with a full load of Copenhagen blue, and I'm just going to go around and enhance the background wherever it needs it. I'm going to start with right around, here, let's pull it in a little bit. I'm going to start with right around my leaves. Even going over the leaves a little bit, that won't kill them. And then I'm going to turn it and go down below here, get a little bit of color down in there. And I'm going to, oops, wrong color. And I'm going to start pulling it out to the very edges. And as you know, I'm the type that just puts the color out there and then gently begins to pull it. And it just depends on your style, whether this is something that works for you. Some people like it, some people don't, but that's the way I paint. I put it out there and then I just blend it. I think it works a little quicker. For me, a lot of times if I can move a piece along, I can see a lot better what's going on. So that's what I do. Okay, so this is Copenhagen again, Copenhagen blue. And it's kind of the darker of the blues. On this piece, I'm going to go kind of all the way around with the Copenhagen blue. I'm going to put a little up in here. Subdue that background a little bit, and I'm going to even come down in here. And I'm going to put a little up in here. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of surrounding the piece with a little Copenhagen blue. Oops. If it's too dark for you, You can always pat it off or add a little more. I think I need a little more oil. It's dragging. When it drags on your piece, that's time to add oil to the paint. It's just not getting enough, so. Okay. Now I'm going to go through and smooth everything. I know I paint a little odd, but I find that sometimes with the background, I get a better background if I don't pay attention to what I'm doing and just put it on, and then I can deal with it as I'm working with the subjects that are around it. Okay, I'm going to put a little blue there, a little blue there, a little blue here. Wherever I think that there should be kind of a shadow, I'm just adding the blue. And then I'm smoothing. Now, as I told you, this time we're going to be using a little bit of light, of a warm brown gray. And it's a color that I found that I love. And I'm going to do that down in here, just to give me a little more background color and also to add a little bit of shadow. Warm brown gray is one of those colors that automatically adds shadow. I have to tell you, I love it. It's very easy to work with. It's one of those that moves easily on the china. I think I want a little warm brown gray up in here. And, you know, there are some colors that they just work better for you. I'm sure you've run into that, where you think you've got the color and then you try to, I'm putting a little up here too. I'm side loading up in here, just so you know. But you think you like the color, and then you go to put it on and it just won't move for you, or it won't mix real well for you. And there are some colors that are just stubborn that way. And I have found that the warm brown gray is not one of those. So let me put a little up in here too. Okay. Alrighty. So now I kind of have my background on the way I want it. I don't know if you've ever used silk, but you can. I don't have fingernails, so I can't cut out like I would like to. But I take a cotton ball and I put it inside of a silk. Silks are things that you buy at the secondhand store, or it's an old scarf that you have or somebody has. And I put some cotton balls in here and I put a rubber band around it. This is the way I do it. Everybody will give you a different way of doing it. But up in here, where the blue is kind of, and I know you can see it there, it's kind of dominant, and I still want that yellow to blend better with the blue. If you take this, hold the silk so it doesn't touch except for the part you want to touch, and just pounce. It will help you blend those colors. It also takes off a little of the color, so you have to pounce fairly lightly if you want to blend some of those colors. But I used it up here because you can see now the line is much more diminished, and the yellow goes right into the blue very smoothly. So for those of you that haven't used a silk before, that might be a way to be able to use a silk. All right. Next, we're going to work on the leaves. I'm going to stick with this brush for a while, but I might have to move down to a smaller brush just because it is kind of big. But we'll see. So I'm going to use my darkest green, which is almost like a black green. And I'm just going to put a little in at the base, kind of redo the base in the center here, where these should be a little more, you know, there's more of a shadow because they come together, and I want to bring the color to the base there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing the color just into the base right now. Almost doing a wash. I'm just doing a little wash at the base. I'm not doing anything. I'm touching a little bit of the veins, but not a whole lot, okay? I'm side loading my brush only, and I think that that's the way to go. I just put it along the side here with the side load of my brush. Oops, wrong side. There we go. And I'm just touching it. I'm not like doing the whole thing like here. I'm just touching it and pulling it down. I know it's not much of a stroke per se. I guess if I had to show you the stroke on this tile, it would be like this. I'm just doing this and then kind of blending them together to get myself some of the, can you see that? Yeah. To get myself some of the color where I want it on the leaves. I want those centers of the leaves to really show. Then I'm going to dip a little bit without cleaning my brush, just the very tip of my brush in the rich brown, and maybe come down this side and give it a little oomph. And you can pull it up into the leaf a little if you need to, like that. I did this one here. You can even come around and put a little more brown on and pull a little up into here. The other color you could use is the blood red that you use on the cherries. A lot of times that really, see there, I'm using it there, just on the ends. And it really helps add a little bit of color to your leaves. It kind of brightens them. I don't know how else to explain it. But it's just, you're just using the very tip of your brush and you're just sort of outlining that and then going back and maybe outlining here, a little here, oops, and a little bit here, there. That one looks a little odd. Let me put some color in there. This is my turnover and it's sticking out like a sore thumb and I don't want that. So I'm going to get a little bit of moss green and I think I'm just going to put some color on there. So it's there, but it's not there. See, I think that helps a little bit, right? Okay, and then I'm going to take my dark and go down here and just do these a little bit. Just the side that has the shadow. There we go. And maybe a little on the tip. And then here I think I need to break the shadow up a little, so I did. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I'm just trying. I find that if I move along, I tend to paint a little better if I move a little faster. Now you're going to have to decide. You remember I have this beautiful, beautiful study from Betty Paulette. And you can see here how she did her, here, I'll hold it up really good, how she did her stems, her twigs, her little stems there. And I really like that, and I was trying to get mine to do something like that. So I'm going to use more of my, well, first let me do this. I'm going to clean out the top part of that branch so we can see it a little better. Oops. That's what happens if you don't get all the mineral spirits, and if you're using it to clean out, like I was. I put my brush in mineral spirits and I was using it to clean out the branch. If you don't get all your mineral spirits out of your brush, it will bleed into the other areas. So there. Okay, and I'm going to do a little cleaning out down here too, just so you can see the branch a little better. Alrighty. So now, I think I'm going to take my liner and I'm going to use the brown gray, warm brown gray, and I'm just going to kind of make sure I've got the texture on there. We got one down here. And on that other one, I put a little branch that came down this way. And I think I'm just going to do that now. I'm just blocking it in, putting a little ticky on it there, and bringing it down. I think I'll bring it down here. Oops. So I've got a little branch there. And you can play with it. If you think it's too thin, you can add a little to it. However you want to do it. And then take a little turpentine or use your Pico-Pay, wipe it out a little bit. And now I'm going down to my 1/4 inch brush. And I'm just going to add a little rich brown on it. And I'm going to give a little color where it goes underneath the top branch, the leaf here. There's a leaf there. I'm going to make it a little darker back in here. Maybe a little darker down in here, just so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb again. There we go. And I think that that will help break up that line a little bit. Okay. Now, let's do the cherries. I have found, I tried a number of ways. I tried to add a little yellow red. I didn't like it. I tried to add a little yellow to it. I didn't like it. So what I'm doing, it's just blood red. I'm kind of side loading my brush, and I'm just going to start with the top cherry here, and I'm going to color it in lightly. I'm just doing straight strokes, except up here I'm going to curve it a little bit. And pull it across. And that gives you a little bit of, you can play with your fingers, you can do whatever you need to get your highlights just right. I want one here. I'm just coming down the side. I want one here. Just touch lightly, and when you, and Cheryl Meggs said an interesting thing when I asked, what advice would you give a beginning China painter? She said, learn your strokes, then just do your strokes and do them intentionally. And I thought, oh, that's really good advice. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I'm just, oops, let me turn this way. I have to go, I'm going over to this guy. I'm just doing my strokes across the base here, and hoping that it adds to this cherry. This one could use a little wipe out right there. Now, I kind of think I'd like to do a ghost cherry, one that just shows up but doesn't really show up. Maybe back here. And because I've already got the background on, I'm just putting blood red side loaded, and I'm just suggesting one. Call it a ghost cherry, call it a shadow cherry. Can you see it there? It's kind of in the background. I don't know if I like it. If I don't like it, I can get rid of it. But I have a little shadow cherry there, so that might be something you'd want to do. Or you could just blend it in. You don't have to keep it. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Now I'm coming up here and I'm going to do these two. Full loading again, 1/4 inch brush. This is the blood red. I I'm starting out though, giving it a little more shape. And then I'm just coming across. And the same thing with this one on top. I'm sorry, so you can see it here. I'm just going to do the shaping of the cherry. Then I'm going to take my little liner here, put it in the blood red and a little bit of brown, just a touch. And I'm going to play with this area around here. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm playing with that little area there. Okay. Oops. I think that needs a little more definition there. Good. And I might put a little more definition on these little guys here. Just squiggle them so they look finished off. That's one thing you want them to look. Okay. So that's, quite frankly, about all I'm going to do. The only other thing I might consider doing is taking my darkest green and going through, or a pen, and going through finishing some of these little details, like maybe going down the side of the leaf like that, or adding a few, oh, that's a little heavy. Adding a few veins. Let me take my regular brush and just push it back. Yeah. Pull it over. Those were a little heavy. There we go. And you could do this with a pen too. Sometimes I feel like my pen is a little more accurate. But I'm just touching like the ends of some of the leaves to give them a little, like here. I don't know if you can see, but like here, I'm just touching the end of the leaf to give it a little, maybe here. Putting in the vein so it shows up a little better. Anywhere I think I need a little detail, I'm taking and just putting in a little bit of detail. Oh, too heavy. Okay, just take that off. There. Okay. I think it needs a little bit up in here too. Okay. I got my name, I have my name on there. I have my background done. The only thing I still have to do is go ahead and do my edge, and I'm going to do it in the warm brown gray. And I think I'm going to do it fairly light. The purpose of the warm brown gray for me on this is just to smooth it out. See up in here how it had kind of a choppy appearance? If I take the warm brown gray and just put it up that way, it'll help smooth it out. And I would say let it dry a little bit, let it set a little bit, come back and look at it. But you have to be very careful. If you're going to make any adjustments to the color, you don't want to wait too long or it becomes really dry and it won't work for you to play with it and add some, you'll find that you have a line and then you keep having to patch the line, and then you keep having to go around the edge, and then you keep having to. So you have to decide at what point you want to go back in and play with it a little. But if you see that there's a problem with color, you can either put color on or take color off. You can use the silk and try that and take the color off or pat it so that it evens out. Or you can use your brush and add color in or take color out. It just depends what you want to do. But this is a way to kind of even it out. And over here, this I think was the worst area. So I'm just evening it out. I don't know, it's hard to tell by looking at your screen, but you can see what parts I haven't done. I haven't done over in this area yet, right there. And so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so this is my version, and I am going to have to go and play a little bit, I can tell. This is my version with the lighter color. This is my version with the darker color. Here's the darker color. Okay, so this is the lighter color, and I have to be careful how I hold it. But you can see this is the lighter color. And then this one is the darker color, and this is the one that's done. So it's just a matter of preference. My reds on here are deeper. My colors on here are deeper, and I like it more grayed. So you just have to decide what you like. And then don't forget to go around the edge, kind of with either with your finger or silk or something, Kleenex. Just make sure you didn't drip all over everything. This is the other one. There. Yeah, can you see that? This is the one I just did. Hi, I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope that you will watch future programs by liking and subscribing to my page. If you do subscribe, I would really appreciate it so that other people who have a similar interest will be able to see more of this kind of programming. I have studies available at my website along with products. If you're interested in finding out more about those, please look at the description box below. Thank you.